People have activated their plan B, running away from Nigeria.
For years, Nigerians have looked for better opportunities outside of the country.
Look at the departure hall.
Even though I love Nigeria, I think it's time to put myself and my family first.
We all love the country, but basically like there's no hope.
I've been in this country since 2013.
I've lived in London for 20 years.
The economy of this country is not designed for people to be rich.
It's designed for you to work and put back into the system.
I was the only black female in my class. I couldn't socialize.
You don't get friends here. You are your father, you are your mother, you are your uncle. You are everything for yourself.
It became really depressing for me, and along the line, my dad died.
I lost a child before. I'm not losing any again.
Every year, thousands of Nigerians flood embassies, stand in endless queues, and gather at airports, holding onto tickets that promise more than just a change of scenery. They carry with them dreams of new beginnings, a fresh start, and the hope to rewrite their destiny.
I'm finally leaving Nigeria, UK. I hope you guys are ready for me.
Over the past few months, I set out to understand the true motive behind this massive exodus, a puzzle that has been misunderstood for so long.
There's no structure, there's no infrastructure in place. So people want to take that brilliance and take it to a country that works, a structure that works.
This is the story of countless Nigerians who have refused to be boxed into the limitations of the country that they were born into. So they chose to japa.
The japa culture.
Japa, the Yoruba word for run.
When I lived in Nigeria, I lived in Kano. Life in Kano was just quite challenging with all the Boko Haram issues that we had. It was difficult to settle and focus with your business. I was preparing to upscale shortly before the big attack happened in 2010.
This is where the first bomb was detonated. A car bomb just behind me here.
Just because there wasn't any way I could plan concretely and have a vision of where I was going to be in the next 5 years, maybe 10 years, and know for sure that this is exactly how things were going to go, it was just difficult to grow in that sort of environment. So I decided to sell up everything I had, came to study an MBA, and that was how I got into the country.
For my parents, they just saw the vision like, we can't keep living like this, average, and our children as well, average. Let's take this risk. Then my dad said, you know what, he will go first, and then we'll pull every other person, bit by bit, settle, and then everybody else will come. He left in 2003. Then my mom and I left 2019. Was it a year after or 2 years after? My brother left, and then my sister came last.
So the whole game changer about me leaving Nigeria was actually this whole pregnancy. I think I got pregnant in 2021 and I was due for February 2022. 12 p.m. the second day, I started passing this thing like urine started coming out of my own body. And I was still like, I'm still not getting attention. You people come and check me. This thing is not normal. At the long run, when the doctor will come in, they say it has to be an emergency cesarean. They started the whole process. But I saw the whole mood in the room that the baby didn't make it. Someone actually walked up to me and she was like, it has happened to her before, I have to brace up. Brace up from what? I am broken. Why is Nigerian happening to me? Sometimes I feel like probably because you are too much in that country is the reason why they feel like if you want to die, die. I have to sit with my husband one day like, I'm tired.
Was this at the point you now decided?
Yeah.
One of the things that has really failed us in Nigeria is health. My dad had pneumonia and he was misdiagnosed for tuberculosis, and that went on for years. That was the cause of his own death. I think the breaking point for me was the End Sars event.
What do we want? End Sars! What do we want? End Sars! When do we want it? Now!
If you look at the motive of all of those young people that came out to protest, their motive is to see a better Nigeria. And at the end of the day, look at what happened to them.
They've killed him.
There was no warning, nothing. They came shooting. People were just dropping. I can't even explain that to you.
Just imagine, God forbid, that my son grows up and something like that happens to him in his own country. It's a very, very painful thing to imagine. So it was at that point that I thought to myself that even though I love Nigeria, I think it's time to put myself and my family first.
We all love the country, but basically like there's no hope.
In all the countries I've been to, I'd found at least one Nigerian.
I was born in Nigeria. I came to Canada in 2012.
Wait, how did you come out from Nigeria to this spot? Between the years of 2010 and 2019, an estimated 1.2 million Nigerians left the shores of Africa to places like North America, Europe, and Asia, all bound by a common quest, the pursuit of a better life.
So when I got on the plane the first night in 2002, I thought to myself, in 6 months I'll be building mansions in Nigeria, I'll be buying cars and I'll be doing everything. But I got here, you see the reality of life. It takes you like a year or two before you even settle.
In 2011, when I first had the opportunity to come to the UK to do my master's, and after master's, I was enjoying the country. I wanted to stay longer, so I started my PhD at the time as well. But life wasn't very easy because I also nearly got married as well. My wife joined me as well, so we had the first child. We also had the second child, and it now became a bit of a struggle because managing work, school, and children is now putting a toll on the family in a way. I just put one and two together, and I thought maybe it might be better for me to, go back to Nigeria and do what I really want to do with my life instead of just wasting my time.
I was the only black female in my class. I couldn't socialize.
You don't get friends here. Here you're in your home. Your family is you. You are your father, you are your mother, you are your uncle. You are everything for yourself.
And they were like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, yeah, I'm from Nigeria. And then somebody behind me just made a random statement. I said, yeah, there are a lot of scammers there.
One of the first shockers I had was in retail. That was one of the first jobs I did. And then I just said, oh, so where is my chair going to be? And then the guy looked at me and said, what chair? And I thought, so am I going to be standing for the rest of my shift?
I have one story where I went to Tesco's and then I saw an old woman who was about 80 years old or so, and she was struggling to pack her bags. Me as a Nigerian who just came, I didn't know anything then. I just came over to try to help her, and she looked at me like, are you trying to steal my stuff? So that's when a couple of the black people who were there told me, this is the UK, you don't do that here.
So it was just different. In Nigeria, I would wake up, whenever I wanted to wake up, I'll go and play tennis. Here, I had to learn to turn up on time. I'm saying please and thank you, waiting your turn, that's not something I was used to. I knew everybody everywhere, and I could make a call and just go to the bank, sit behind the counter, get my money sorted, and I'll just walk out. But here, I just had to, join the queue, do everything like everybody else, and trust me, that really humbles you.
I sat at home for about 2 months, and after 2 months I started doing cleaning in central London. I was paid £4 an hour for my cleaning job.
When I applied for some jobs, one guy actually called me from one company, a recruiter, and said, we can't pay you. It's today I realize why some of those things happen then, because some of the people that you end up working with don't even have degrees. They don't even have diplomas. So I realized that what you need is actually work experience. And I always tell people that when you come to this country, no one cares about your degree. No one cares about your PhD. It depends on what job you want to go into. But if you don't have UK work experience, no one's gonna hire you. And I thought to myself, so why am I paying £9,000 on top of what I've already paid? And I'm gonna end up going to work in freaking Tesco's with an MBA degree.
For you, what's the cost of living like here?
It's too high. The economy of this country is not designed for people to be rich.
It's designed for you to work and put back into the system. A lot of people used to go to Sainsbury's to shop. A lot of people used to go to Tesco's. A lot of people used to go to M&S and things like that. But now you go to Aldi or you go to Lidl, everyone is on queue. They're just waiting to, make sure that everyone can eat in their family. So
one of the biggest costs, two of the biggest costs actually. The first one is your house rent, and the second biggest thing that you're going to spend money on is your childcare.
According to UK Office for National Statistics, the average cost for rent in London exceeds £1,500 per month, with other major cities not far behind. This pressure is even more compounded when a spouse and children are involved.
For 5 years, I lived with my aunt and my family.
My husband and I found it very difficult, to look after ourselves. And you can imagine with 3 kids, that was like, I don't want to say the most horrible thing, but thank God for the family, support system that we have here. If not for that, I don't know what would have happened.
Did you ever experience any discrimination or racism while you were here in the UK?
Here, discrimination comes in different package, and a very silent one and very painful.
There's this unconscious bias, I would call it. You tend to get from people. You are in a meeting, no one is asking you the questions, and you're wondering, they're just assuming you wouldn't know.
I've been in meetings where they should be talking English and realize they can speak French because I don't speak French. That is racism. We in England, you are speaking French in a meeting.
I was driving to work a few weeks ago, and so this guy pulled in front of me, and I pulled up beside him eventually. And I was asking him, what's up, dude? Like, why would you drive like that? And he went and started making monkey signs at me. And I thought I was dreaming. I was like, what?
I've had situations where I am the one dealing with the issue. It is my job, it is my role, but then I don't get asked. They're asking the next person, and then the next person is coming to come and get the information from me. So you wonder what's going on here. But if you've lived here a long time, you start to let it just wash over you, I feel, and I tend not to notice it as much.
Eventually I saw the police and I reported to the police. Well, the police. Just take your details, take your address. They've written me a couple of times and I've not bothered responding because they're still asking me for one single detail, which I felt was the most important thing that I gave to them. What's the guy's reg number? And I've given it to them 3 times, but they're still asking me what's his reg number. So I decided I'm not gonna bother.
Can you just take me through that experience of like that living at 3 and then?
Obviously, when he left, I was 3. I didn't know what was going on. 2003, there was no internet. And then, telephone, but, calling Nigeria is going to be very expensive. So it has to be very short conversation. Hello, how are you? I'm fine. Did you go to school today? Yes. Have you done your assignment? Yes. Okay, bye-bye. So that was our relationship for so long.
It became really depressing for me, and I was missing my parents, and along the line, my dad died. For me not being there to pay my final respect for my dad, my best friend, it was, and it's still one of the hardest things ever that a man could ever go through. I cried every day for a year. I almost got on the plane to go back home, but, with advice from my mom. And before my dad died, I think he left a message to say, please don't let him come back because I know he's going to try to come back and, to be there to do that. So it was just, one of the most painful part of my life.
You always tell me, don't worry, one day you come. One day became 1 year. One day you come. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Drink water, drop cup, 16 years. In between those years, it's like, would this ever happen? How do one really make up for 16 years? I don't think both of us we figured it out yet. Because sometimes I get jealous when I go on social media and maybe during Valentine's Day and I see a young girl like 5 years old going on a date with their dad. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Well, I can't be 5 again. I'm old now. Everyone is kind of busy.
I left my family behind, and for about 9 years, I never saw my dad, never saw my mom, my brothers, my sisters. Things like WhatsApp helped make it better, helped to soften it, but you just realize that in reality, I've actually not seen them. Sometimes you don't realize how much it affects you mentally until you put yourself back in that situation.
It's a tough one. I don't really think I can ever make up for the lost times, to be honest.
Raising children here also means exposing them to a different way of life. It's a constant balancing act between teaching them Nigerian values and allowing them to embrace British culture. And then there's the topic of LGBTQ.
When you get the backhand from your parents, like when you're a lot younger, you really don't have that liberty to do it here.
First of all, let me give my personal opinion. If you are is you. But in my family values are my family values. I'm an African.
The setup here, policy-wise, rules-wise, you are not allowed to not expose them to this kind of education. In school, they teach it.
The options of my kids is based on the values of my family. It's not based on the values of the law of the government.
Kids are a bit tricky because sometimes when you tell them what to do, that's not what they want to do. They want to do the opposite. So we've let them, be free. But when they get home, they know that the religion is there. They know that the culture and, they see exactly how me and their mom, how we live and how we, go about our lives.
There's conflict, because you want to do what the law says. But of course, you, in your heart and mind, you believe this is what is right. So it can be challenging and it can be difficult, but we're navigating through that and we're doing the best we can to raise, our kids up in the way that we believe is right for them.
On the positive side, the UK provides general support system for immigrants, including access to healthcare and education. These resources can be invaluable for families navigating their new lives.
The day I got to this country, I feel like I eventually ran away from the deaths that want to kill me. Nigeria wants to wound me. God will have his way. I think I got pregnant. From the very first day I was told to contact my midwife. The whole experience is different style. The care was too much. And sometimes I need to tell my husband, these people want to use cord to injure me. We had the baby in under like 30 minutes. The baby was given to me by my side. And I was like, it is not this hard. Why did they make it hard for me? I was discharged the second day. We went home, started doing my normal activity. We can do better in Nigeria. We can do much better. My son, Akoreji oni toju mi ku. Kò ní tójú mi kú. And I know definitely ó máa worú nǹkan ní ọjọ́ iwájú and be like, I have a strong mother. Because that's who I am. Whenever my husband is saying this to me, he'll be like, I'm glad you crossed my way. Because I had it together for all of us not to go crazy, to be honest. I had it together. It wasn't easy, Tayo, but here we are now. It's a different story. But never, that's part of my story. I lost a child before. I'm not losing any again. And that's my thing. That's it. Thank you. Baby! Oh, boo! I love you.
For me, it's been worth it because I have a beautiful family. I have a beautiful life.
You just see life from a very different perspective. Like anything is possible. I'm sure if I were to be in Nigeria, I can't say, I own a house at 22. What did you steal?
It doesn't go 100% here too. There are cases that I've seen too. There are people who lost their child during childbirth here too. But I'm still saying that they take 100% caution here.
Looking at where I've come from and where I am today, this was my goal, to have a beautiful life, to have beautiful kids, and to make sure that I can take care of my mom and I can take care of my family. So as long as I'm doing that, this has been worth it for me.
If this life ends and then another one starts, will I move again? If Nigeria is still the way Nigeria is looking like, I love my country, don't get me wrong, I think I will still move.
I like where I am now. It's all been part of the package and I'm grateful for it, and I will still have done this even if I knew this is what I was going to go through.
The success of Nigerians in the UK highlight the untapped potential within Nigeria itself. Many Nigerians in the UK and other countries are law-abiding citizens who are constantly contributing positively to their communities. Nigerians have also made significant strides in the healthcare sector, where many work within the National Health Service. This suggests that with better governance and improved infrastructure, Nigerians could harness this potential domestically rather than exporting its most valuable assets, its people. The desire to japa may fade from the headlines, but it will never disappear from the hearts of those seeking a way out. And until the root causes are addressed, this story is doomed to repeat itself over and over again. So thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys loved watching this. This was a whole documentary that I had to travel out to the UK to shoot because I felt this was a very important story that needed to be told. Shout out to the team who spent countless hours researching all of these and piecing all the different parts of this story together. I couldn't have done this without them, so shout out to all of you. As always guys, if you love the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so that we can get to our goal of 1 million subscribers before the end of the year. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.